The night before the college application deadline, our close friends group chat exploded. Holy crap, Willow changed her application. Weren't you and George planning to apply to the Capital Academy of Fine Arts together? Someone tagged Willow. On the other end, Willow's voice came through, lazy like she'd just woken up, mixed with the background noise of a game. Oh, you mean George? It's fine. He has my account and password. She paused, like she was chewing gum. If he sees I changed it, he'll just follow suit. Think about it, after all these years, do you really think he could live without me? I stared at my phone, fingertips ice cold. The clacking of mechanical keys was jarringly loud in the silent room. I left the group chat without looking at the application system again. She didn't know. She could change course for Makoto just like that. But in my heart, there was always a sky full of stars, untouched and sacred. That dream I fought for through countless sleepless nights and reams of paper. It was never just for her. Chapter 1. Willow's words in the group chat were like an ice pick driven into my heart. The Capital Academy of Fine Arts, that was the dream we swore to chase one summer night in 8th grade. We stayed up painting at the studio, staring at the bright stars above us. Both our families had sat down together, carefully weighing every option before settling on that school. Now she just changed it like it was nothing. She didn't even bother to tell me. The group chat was still buzzing with ongoing discussions among friends. Willow, you're that sure George will check your account? What if he doesn't even notice? Willow let out a snort. A game reward notification chimed in the background. Of course he'll check. I know him too well. He probably checks it 800 times a day, terrified something might go wrong and we end up at different campuses. There was a tired kind of certainty in her tone. Ugh, you guys don't get it. You ever had a simp glued to you since childhood? It's exhausting. Laughter filled the group chat, muted and knowing. Another friend chimed in with doubts. Even if he finds out, are you that sure George will change his application last minute? That's risky. Willow's game sounds paused for half a second. Then her voice returned, annoyed and sharp. Piss off. Has George ever been away from me for more than 3 days since we were toddlers? If he's not following me to Southern City Art College, where the hell else would he go? The first person who brought it up couldn't take it anymore. Willow, isn't this a little messed up? Shouldn't you at least tell George? Willow went silent for a beat, then replied, voice tight with irritation. Forgot. Too much hassle. Don't feel like explaining. And it's not like it was random. Makoto, you guys know what his family situation is like. Going down south alone makes him uneasy. Having someone familiar nearby makes him feel safer. The group went quiet for a few seconds after her explanation. True. With Makoto's situation, it's smart to have someone watching his back. Not like George, who's always holed up in the studio covered in charcoal. Put him next to Makoto and, yikes. Giving up Capital Academy just for Makoto, Willow's a real one. All that half-joking praise and agreement layered over her game sounds froze me in place. My fingers curled tight, nails digging into my palms. I wanted to scream at Willow through the screen. But my body felt welded to the chair, completely paralyzed. I don't know how long I sat there motionless in silence. In the end, I simply turned off the computer. As the screen went dark, it felt like the last flicker of light in my heart had gone out too. Chapter 2. The door was locked, and darkness swallowed everything inside the room. The bitterness I had been holding back finally surged out uncontrollably. Willow's words echoed in my head again and again without stop. I still couldn't understand her choice. How could she give up on the Capital Academy of Fine Arts, something she had dreamed of for so many years, just like that? We had pulled so many all-nighters, painting until the break of dawn. We worked hard just to earn the score that could take us to our shared dream school. Right before I saw the messages in the group chat, I was still thrilled at the thought of walking into that dream together with her. But I never expected such a sudden and cruel change. The future I poured my soul into, the one I painted for the two of us. She could erase it all in a heartbeat for someone else's casual comment. She changed her application just like that without hesitation. And telling me about it was never on her mind. Was she really that scared I'd cling tightly to her side? If she was so afraid I'd cling to her, then what about that night after our training camp ended? We stood on the rooftop of the art studio, sharing a tender moment alone. That kiss she placed on my lips smelled faintly of paint. Our hearts pounded wildly like war drums inside our chests. Did that sweet moment mean nothing to her at all? Was it just a moment of impulse under pressure, while I mistook it for genuine affection? Something inside my mind suddenly snapped completely. The truth is, she was never the only reason pushing me forward. From elementary to high school, I followed Willow to the same schools and the same art studios. Everyone, including Willow herself, just assumed I would always chase her shadow forever. But no one knew my true hidden thoughts and wishes. I had another reason for wanting to go to the Capital Academy of Fine Arts. It was a deeper and more heartfelt reason. This reason had absolutely nothing to do with Willow. Even if she chose not to go there, I still would stick to my original plan. I closed the sketchbook beside me, the one filled with our inspirations and promises. I didn't even glance at the application system again. I had no intention of changing my destination for her. She could go chase Makoto to the ends of the earth if she wanted. But I had my own stars and my own vast ocean to pursue. Our paths had officially diverged. There was no need to dwell on the past memories any longer. Once I understood that truth, the suffocating feeling strangely began to fade away. It wasn't the end of the world as I once feared. Dad always said once your wings are strong enough, it's time to fly on your own journey. As for that rooftop kiss, let's just say it was like being scratched by a stray cat in an alley. Just after I washed my face with cold water, Willow's video call popped up on my phone screen. My mind resisted answering, but my fingers tapped accept out of old habit. "George, what's taking you so long? We're just waiting on you. Hurry up, same old barbecue spot. If you're late, all the meat's gonna be gone." Noise buzzed in the background, filled with familiar voices teasing and laughing happily. A post-exam tradition was taking turns treating everyone to dinner together. Tonight was Willow's turn to host the gathering, but I didn't feel like joining them anymore. "I'm not coming. You guys enjoy the meal." Before I could finish my sentence, a deep and magnetic voice deliberately lowered cut in abruptly. "Willow, is George refusing to come because he doesn't want to see me at your friend's get-together?" Willow hadn't even responded yet when others chimed in right away to ease the awkward vibe. "Come on, Makoto. We're thrilled you're here. George is just, well, you know. He can't stand seeing any other good-looking guy around Willow. You'll get used to this kind of situation soon enough." Part of Makoto's face appeared in the corner of Willow's screen, sitting far too close to her. With a considerate tone, he spoke softly in a pretentious manner. "Willow, maybe I should just leave. I don't want to make things awkward for you." Willow's expression darkened instantly upon hearing his words. She grabbed his hand firmly and told him to stay right there beside her. Then she turned to the camera, her tone cold and hard without warmth. "George, come or don't. It's your own choice. We're not waiting for you any longer. We're starting the dinner now." The video ended, cut off cleanly and decisively by Willow. A rush of hot rage shot straight to my head in an instant. I tapped a few buttons and added Willow to my block list without hesitation. For the first time in my life, I chose to block her contact. And once again, all the conflict happened simply because of Makoto's existence. Chapter 3. Ever since Makoto transferred to our art studio in junior year, I lost count of how many exceptions Willow made for him. Maybe girls really do have a soft spot for brooding, strikingly good-looking guys with a quiet, mysterious aura. While I was buried in sketches, covered all over in charcoal and paint stains. Makoto always looked clean, fresh, and tastefully dressed all the time. Even his drawing board looked like a fashionable accessory instead of a study tool. Because of him, Willow and I had argued many times and even gone through cold wars. There were times I genuinely thought she had special feelings for him. I chose to distance myself from her on purpose out of disappointment. But each time, Willow would come find me with firm conviction in her words. "Don't overthink it. Makoto's just an ordinary friend. His family situation is rather complicated. I'm just trying my best helping him out. People say he's handsome, but behind his back, they probably speak ill of him." And I chose to believe every single word she said sincerely. Makoto's father had a bad public reputation, which dragged his whole family down. So I turned a blind eye as Willow and Makoto gradually grew closer day by day. Willow had never lied to me before this moment. If she said she didn't have romantic feelings for him, I fully trusted her words. But later on, in places I couldn't see with my own eyes, there were too many secret interactions between them that I never knew about. All the hidden facts finally surfaced until now. She changed her entire college application choice just for his sake, which just made all my past trust feel like a cruel and ridiculous joke. My head was a messy tangle of confused thoughts when a WeChat notification popped up suddenly. "Wow, George, you finally grew a spine. Blocking me? Just wait till you get home and we talk this out." It was Willow messaging me by using someone else's account. I blocked that new account too without the slightest hesitation. Glancing at the time, I grabbed my backpack and left home quickly. It was the final day to confirm college applications. Our homeroom teacher had called everyone back to the art studio to double-check personal forms. Traffic was awfully heavy on the road. By the time I arrived, Willow and Makoto were already inside the room. The seat next to Willow had always been my fixed position. But Makoto was sitting there casually fiddling with her paintbrush casually. When I walked in, he didn't bother to move an inch from the seat. He just glanced at me with a subtle, almost imperceptible challenging look in his eyes. Willow acted like she did not notice my arrival at all. She turned her head away, keeping her face cold and indifferent toward me. She was probably waiting for me to cave in first, just like I always did before. But not this time. I made up my mind firmly. I didn't want to sit near her anymore anyway. Looking around the room, I headed straight for the empty seat beside David. This spot was as far away from them as I could possibly get. Everyone, our homeroom teacher said quickly to gather our attention. Just a few hours left for application submission. Make sure all information is correct. If you still have questions about your choices, now's the perfect time to ask. Then she hurried off to handle other work matters. David was gleefully spilling some fresh gossip around us. I suddenly felt a light smack landing on the back of my head. "George, come outside for a moment." Willow's voice came from behind my back. I turned around and met her gaze directly. Then I looked away without saying a single word. I continued chatting casually with David as if nothing happened. Willow grabbed my shoulder and forcefully turned me toward her direction. "George, what's your problem this time? Aren't you tired of this pointless conflict? We're adults now. Still playing the silent treatment game, don't you think it's childish behavior?" Her brows furrowed tightly, tone heavy with obvious fatigue. Forced to look straight at her face, I gave a faint half-smile. "Yeah, it is childish. It's also boring as hell to keep this up. So save the fake performance. I'm not buying your reconciliation act anymore." We stared at each other for a few seconds before she completely lost patience. "Fine. Suit yourself whatever you want. If you want to play the tough guy role, go ahead and do that. Just don't go hiding and crying under your blanket later on." She let go of my arm, tone laced with her usual sarcastic bite. I turned back to chat with David again, keeping my facial expression blank. I thought she had already left my side. But then both her hands clamped down firmly on my shoulders. She twisted my body to face her once more. This time, her eyes locked steadily onto mine, rarely showing such a serious expression. "Today's the last day to confirm choices. Double-check your application, okay? Don't screw up your own future choices carelessly." She looked like she had more words she wanted to speak to me. But just then, Makoto walked over slowly with a tablet held in his hand. "Willow, I think there's a small issue with my submission form. Can you take a look and help me sort it out?" Willow nodded in response to his request without hesitation. Before leaving my side, out of pure old habit like countless times before, she reached out her hand intending to ruffle my hair gently. I turned my head sideways and dodged her hand easily. Her hand froze midair awkwardly without touching me. Her gaze darkened slightly with displeasure, but she still reminded me softly. "Remember to go to the computer lab later. Check all your information one last time carefully. Don't get sloppy on such important matters." Chapter 4. I let out a cold laugh deep in my heart at her false concern. She probably thought that as long as she reminded me, I would go double-check my application form. She assumed I would realize she changed her own choice and then follow her to Southern City Art College. She was too stubborn to speak out her true thoughts directly, of course. If she told me plainly she changed her plans all for Makoto's sake, she would also have to waste extra energy comforting my sad mood. What a troublesome thing it would be in her eyes. Good thing I was never turning back on my decision anymore. I glanced at Willow, who was fully focused on helping Makoto deal with his tablet problem. Then I grabbed David's arm and left the art studio together. David noticed my unusual low mood and insisted on dragging me to a buddy's birthday party. I finally gave in and agreed to join the celebration. After dinner ended, they pulled me along to a newly opened motorcycle-themed bar. It turned out Willow's group of friends were also gathering inside this bar. There were quite a few mutual acquaintances among us. Before long, we ended up staying in the same large private booth. Willow's expression stiffened a little the instant she caught sight of me. But she did not say a single greeting word. She did not even nod to acknowledge my presence. I treated her like invisible air throughout the whole time. On the way heading to the restroom, I overheard her talking privately with one of her girlfriends around a corner. The girl was trying to talk some reasonable sense into Willow's mind. "Willow, maybe just be straight and honest with George. He's going all the way to Beijing by himself, facing an unfamiliar brand new city alone." Willow's voice was full of absolute certainty about my reaction. Relax, I made sure he will adjust his choice eventually. He definitely changed his application already. He's just pissed right now because I didn't talk to him first, that's all. I froze in place immediately after hearing her arrogant judgment. Footsteps gradually approached my hiding spot. The two of them turned the corner and unexpectedly saw me standing there. Willow gave her friend a subtle look signaling her to leave us alone. Then she quickly stepped forward and boxed me in against the dim hallway wall. George, we need to have a serious talk right now. I rolled my eyes and tried to walk away from her confinement. I only managed to take one small step. She pulled me right back, trapping me tightly between her arm and the cold wall. The faint smell of alcohol mixed with that familiar scent of paint and turpentine on her clothes washed over my senses. Instinctively, I turned my face away to avoid getting close to her. For a moment, we just stared silently at each other without any words. Then Willow broke the awkward silence first. She gave a soft, almost amused laugh at my cold attitude. Still holding onto your anger toward me? I was gonna ask you to come with me earlier on, but you blocked my contact, so I couldn't get through to you at all. The people back in the studio were also upset with your behavior today. I simply forgot to bring up this matter with you properly. All right. Don't stay mad at me anymore. Her tone softened into a coaxing manner. You checked your application form carefully, right? I kept my eyes lowered toward the ground, remaining completely silent. While we stood there stuck in this weird standoff, a familiar voice came from behind me. It was Makoto's voice breaking the tense atmosphere. Willow, David's calling all of us over for drinks now. Oops, sorry, are you two having a private conversation? His tone carried the perfect amount of pretended apology. Sometimes I seriously wondered if Makoto had a hidden tracker following Willow everywhere. Every single time she tried to talk to me alone, he always managed to show up seemingly by pure chance. I did not want to get dragged into any unnecessary disputes. The moment Willow turned her head back, I ducked under her arm and slipped out from her blocking hold smoothly. But just as I casually passed by Makoto's side, he suddenly reached out and firmly grabbed my wrist. Chapter 5. I'm really sorry, George. I didn't mean to interrupt your private talk. You've been upset all day long, and Willow's been feeling terrible because of this too. Makoto's voice carried that innocent, almost pitiful tone to win sympathy. I did not want to waste any precious time arguing with him. I tried to yank my wrist free from his tight grip, but he just gripped even harder suddenly. His nails dug sharply into my skin, bringing obvious stinging pain. I jerked my arm hard and finally broke away from his grasp successfully. Makoto staggered backward unsteadily, catching himself leaning against the wall. His eyes turned red on the spot, putting on a hurt look. Willow, is George still mad at me? Does he blame me for showing up to your group hangout gathering? I'll sincerely apologize to him if that can ease the tension, okay? I really don't want you two good friends fighting and falling out just because of me. As he spoke those words, he actually bowed his head toward my direction. Willow snapped into anger right away at the scene. She immediately pulled Makoto back to steady him. He's the petty-minded one. What are you apologizing to him for? George, why'd you push him away harshly? You should be the one saying sorry. Willow glared at me sharply with dissatisfaction written all over her face. We're all going to the same place anyway to hang out together. What's wrong with looking out for each other among friends? Since you love looking after other people so much, I snapped back in frustration. You two can take good care of each other all you want from now on. With that sharp reply, I turned and walked away steadily. I ignored the warning tone filled with anger coming from her mouth. George, that's enough of your unreasonable attitude. It took quite a while before Willow and Makoto finally came back to the booth. Willow still looked obviously irritated and annoyed. Makoto, on the other hand, seemed completely fine and relaxed again. There was a subtle, unreadable, complicated expression hidden deep in his eyes. Everyone started playing the truth or dare game to liven up the mood. Besides David, it felt like the rest of the crowd had completely forgotten I was even present there. Or perhaps they simply never cared about my feelings and situation at all. Such reaction made perfect sense to me. In their eyes, I was just the person who always stuck closely beside Willow. Makoto received a dare task, dance slowly with someone of the opposite sex in the room. His gaze swept across the whole room once slowly, and his eyes immediately landed firmly on Willow's figure. He spoke with a soft, playful, whiny tone. Willow, please save me. Willow instinctively glanced over toward my position. Her look carried an obvious challenging meaning toward me. She tilted her chin slightly upward confidently. Sure, I'll do this dance with you. If this situation had happened before, I would have exploded in anger on the spot without hesitation. But now, I did not show any emotional reaction at all. Makoto had learned professional street dance before. His body proportions were sharp and clean-cut. He looked graceful and charming when moving his body to the rhythm. I silently downed half a bottle of cold beer to calm my mood. My eyes stayed calm all the time. I watched Makoto move smoothly to the beat of electronic music playing in the bar. His body brushed closely against Willow's figure, movements full of ambiguous teasing tension. At first, Willow still wore that casual, dismissive smile on her face. Her eyes flicked toward me now and then, like she was waiting for me to lose my temper. But as Makoto's dance moves grew bolder and more unrestrained, his gaze toward her became increasingly intense and focused. Her spine slowly straightened up nervously. Her eyes finally stayed locked steadily on his face, ignoring everything else around them. All other surroundings faded away from her perception. The air was thick with hidden ambiguous sparks. Unspoken passionate heat filled the narrow space between the two people. As the music song gradually came to an end, Makoto suddenly pretended to lose his balance accidentally. Willow instinctively reached out her hands to steady his falling body. He seized this perfect moment to pull her tightly into his warm arms. He was wearing a slightly loose shirt tonight. As he leaned down, the collar shifted out of place. Their bodies pressed tightly close together. The intimate posture looked extremely suggestive, making the whole room burst into noisy reactions. Cheers, whistles, and excited howls echoed loudly around us. The lively atmosphere reached its peak instantly. Willow's face flushed deep red out of embarrassment and shyness. She looked like she wanted to hide herself away from everyone's curious stares. Makoto gave a triumphant, satisfied smile. His arm slid naturally around her slender waist. He pulled her face gently into the crook of his neck, shielding her from all surrounding sights. That kind of intimate sweetness and tender closeness once belonged only to me in the past. Even though I had already made up my mind to let go of this relationship completely. Watching such scene unfolding right in front of my eyes, my chest felt like it was being fiercely crushed by an invisible heavy fist. The pain was so intense that I could barely breathe normally. I could not stay in this uncomfortable environment any longer. I downed the last remaining sip of my drink. I stood up quietly and left the noisy private room without uttering a single word. David quickly followed me out of the bar. He stood beside me on the roadside. He kept cursing the unfair situation until midnight came. He had tried to stand up for me and lose his temper inside more than once. But I stopped him every single time to avoid more trouble. There was no need to argue further. We had essentially become strangers to each other now. I had no idea what happened inside the bar afterwards, nor did I bother to care anymore. My body and mind were both completely drained of all energy and strength. When I finally arrived home, the clock showed 11:50 p.m. Only 10 minutes remained until the college application system officially closed for good. I collapsed heavily onto my bed, every ounce of strength slipping away from my limbs. All those unforgettable days and nights spent together over the years came flooding back to my mind. Memories formed a huge tidal wave that drowned every last shred of rational thinking. Sharp pain wrapped tightly around my heart like twisting vines. The feeling was heavy and suffocating. Suddenly, my mobile phone started ringing loudly, breaking the quiet night. It was an unfamiliar unknown number displayed on the screen. I pressed the answer button slowly. It was Willow calling me, sounding tipsy from alcohol. Her voice turned sticky soft and unusually gentle compared with usual tone. "George, don't be mad at me anymore, okay? Be good, remember to adjust and change your application choice. Shanghai's such a nice big city. When we settle down there, I'll take you out painting often." Chapter 6. It was probably the alcohol affecting her mind, making her attitude softer than usual. Her manner was totally different from her usual stubborn self. When we used to have quarrels in the past, even if she was the first one backing down, she always carried a faint hint of hidden threat in her words. "George, keep this up and I won't go watch the art exhibition with you next time." And like a total pushover, I would immediately give in to her every time. When you truly have deep feelings for someone, you can never bear to let the relationship fall apart completely. But this time around, the gentler she spoke, the colder my inner heart felt. "Say something to me, George." Haven't you always wanted to go somewhere warm and pleasant? The new campus of South City Academy of Arts keeps spring scenery all year round. You would definitely love staying in such a comfortable place. Beijing is far away from here, and the winters there are freezing cold. You wouldn't be able to stand such harsh cold weather. During winter break, I'll accompany you to the Forbidden City to admire the beautiful snow scenery. She rambled on and on continuously, trying her best to persuade my decision. It seemed like she was convincing me, or maybe trying to convince her own inner thoughts. She pretended choosing South City Academy was all for my personal sake and comfort. I listened silently without interrupting her lengthy speech. In the end, I could no longer hold back my question. My voice came out hoarse and low from accumulated mood swings. Willow, isn't there something important you need to honestly tell me? Even I was caught off guard by the obvious crack and tremor in my own voice. I thought if she could just choose to be truthful with me right now, maybe we could still preserve a tiny shred of dignity between us. She paused for barely 2 seconds before casually brushing off my sincere question. Didn't you already figure out the truth by yourself? Why even bother asking? You've been sulking all day long just over this matter. Who is the petty one now exactly? Come on now, both schools have excellent educational quality. As long as we stay together side by side, does the specific location really matter that much? She kept talking about various trivial things, deliberately avoiding the most crucial point. She never mentioned the real person and reason behind her choice. The last spark of hope inside my heart completely went dark. I did not want to listen to her empty words any longer. Before she could finish her sentence, I hung up the phone call abruptly, then turned off my phone device entirely. I raised my head to glance at the wall clock. The second hand had just passed midnight time. Everything was officially over between us. Fine, we would each walk our separate paths and chase what we truly desire. I turned off all room lights and lay down on the bed quietly. I forced myself to try falling asleep to end the exhausting day. But the moment I closed my eyes, all I could see were various images of Willow. Willow wearing a smile, Willow showing anger, Willow focusing seriously on painting works. The tender rooftop kiss she gave me also emerged clearly in my mind. From innocent little kids to awkward teenage youngsters, all my youthful memories were filled with her figure. I never imagined our relationship would end up in such a heartbreaking way. Lonely nights always easily bring out hidden inner weakness. The firm strength I held onto during daytime crumbled into nothingness. Silent tears soaked the pillow beneath my head without making any sound. I had no clear idea when I finally drifted off into sleep. When I opened my eyes again, it was already noon the next day. I switched my phone back on, seeing a dozen missed calls and unread messages. All these contacts came from unfamiliar numbers, all sent by Willow. I chose to ignore all of them without any hesitation. My WeChat application also flooded with sudden messages. David had pulled me into a small private group chat. New messages kept popping up nonstop rapidly inside the chat interface. #Chapter 7. I tapped to enter the group chat page casually. Someone inside had shared a screenshot of a WeChat post posted at 3 o'clock in the early morning. The chat group instantly exploded with heated discussions. Damn, Makoto just officially confirmed their relationship status. How many new couples have emerged ever since the college entrance exam ended? Classic style that fits Makoto's personality perfectly. The background setting is definitely a luxurious hotel suite room. That intimate pose looks extremely ambiguous and suggestive. Graduation really released all his hidden bold sides. It was a screenshot captured from Makoto's personal WeChat Moments page. I clicked on the picture to view details carefully. The photo displayed a girl lying on pristine white hotel bed sheets. Her face was turned sideways away from the camera angle. It was undoubtedly Willow. Even only half of her face and messy tousled hair were visible. I could recognize her appearance at first glance. My chest tightened sharply again with piercing pain. Makoto's written caption was even more blunt and full of romantic hints. 99 steps forward for your 1 step back. Every effort is totally worthwhile. Now everything has turned perfectly complete. Likes and comment replies flooded rapidly under this post. Makoto's replies only fueled everyone's vivid imagination further. All of Willow's close female friends left heart icons and teasing remarks below the post. My heart sank straight down to the lowest rock bottom instantly. So they had already developed such an intimate relationship long ago. So last night, while she was softening my mood with sweet comforting words, she was staying in bed together with someone else at the same time. How thoughtful and considerate her disguise had been. The heartache hit me even harder than before. But strangely enough, a sliver of relief also rose inside me. Thank goodness I did not change my college application choice just to follow her footsteps. If I had abandoned my dream for her sake, I would become the biggest ridiculous joke of all. I shut off the phone screen quickly, forcing my chaotic mind to turn blank. The doorbell suddenly rang, breaking the quiet atmosphere. I walked over and opened the front door. Willow was standing right outside my doorway. Dark, heavy circles hung under her eyes. She held a paper bag from my favorite traditional pastry shop in hand. I stood firmly in the doorway, blocking her way from stepping into my house. Yet she slipped past my side sideways just like she always used to do. She headed straight toward the living room area naturally. She set the pastry bag down on the table. Instinctively, she reached out intending to ruffle my hair. I turned my head sideways and avoided her casual touch once again. George, what's with this cold attitude of yours? No replies to messages, no answer to phone calls at all. What, do you want me to actually go on the summer trip without you? Then will you come running after me crying regretfully later? She spoke in her usual teasing tone. She opened the pastry box and pushed the delicate snacks toward me. Come on, stop being angry with me. I waited in line for half an hour just to buy these treats you love. Eat up, I know you've been craving this flavor for a long time. Then we can discuss where we will travel for summer break together. Tibet Plateau scenic areas, or relaxing seaside beaches. I kept my body still without moving an inch. She picked up one pastry piece trying to feed me personally. I stepped backward slightly keeping distance from her. She let out a helpless sigh. All right, Your Highness. I'll leave the food here on the table for you. Didn't you always say you wanted to admire ancient murals in the Gobi Desert? The summer vacation period is long enough for us to fully enjoy the journey. I already contacted David and other friends. We plan to rent 2 travel vans. Traveling in a big lively group should be great fun. I shook my head firmly to express refusal. I'm not going on this trip. Please leave my home now. I've already made other plans later on. Willow froze on the spot, frowning deeply in confusion. Why refuse all of a sudden? You've talked about this travel plan for years. Are you really skipping the trip just to hold onto your stubborn point? She put down the pastry and stretched out her hand trying to grab my arm. As I attempted to dodge her touch, she snatched my mobile phone with her other hand quickly. Stop this childish behavior already, will you? I suffered a hangover from last night's drinking party. I still drag myself over here especially trying to make peace between us. I'm already exhausted both physically and mentally. I snapped back sharply with unhidden frustration. No one forced you to come here. I don't need your so-called peace offering at all. Willow frowned even deeper upon hearing my cold reply. Then tell me honestly, why are you unwilling to join the trip? I looked straight at her face, feeling the whole situation utterly absurd. If you truly wanted to plan the journey with me sincerely, you wouldn't have confirmed travel partners and routes first. Then come here pretending to ask for my personal choice. Besides, my absence is probably exactly what you hoped for anyway. Makoto will join the trip too, right? Why drag me along just to act as an awkward third wheel? Willow took a deep breath to calm her rising temper. Her patience finally reached the breaking limit. Yes, Makoto is coming along with our group. He has been longing to visit Dunhuang's scenic spots for a very long time too. But he won't be the only new companion joining us. Shouting's boyfriend will also take part in this summer travel. Can you stop being overly obsessed with Makoto's existence already? What harm has he ever done to you to make you act like this? His whole family hasn't taken a proper vacation together for many years. He saved up travel fees bit by bit relying on himself for this trip. So what if he tags along with our crowd? Dunhuang's scenic area covers a vast land range. Do you think it cannot hold one more visitor? She was clearly irritated, words pouring out without careful filtering. I laughed bitterly and nodded my head in understanding. Fine then, go travel with whoever you prefer staying with. I will not take part in this journey. Willow's temper completely flared up at my firm refusal. George, I'm actively giving you a chance to reconcile our relationship here. Keep this stubborn attitude up and you will only look pathetic. I have already booked your travel ticket in advance. The departure time is tomorrow morning at the airport. Come or stay behind, the final decision belongs to you alone. I don't care what choice you end up making. She slammed my phone down heavily on the coffee table surface. Then she stormed out of my house angrily. There was not a single hint of hesitation in her leaving steps. I followed her figure to the doorway. I closed the front door immediately the moment she stepped outside. Willow was burning with fury outside the closed door. Just before the door shut completely separating us, she snapped out a harsh warning toward me. With that bad temper of yours, good luck getting along smoothly with your Southern college roommates. Chapter 8. The door shut tightly, cutting off all connection between inside and outside. Back in the quiet living room, I picked up that delicate pastry box entirely. I tossed the whole container straight into the household trash can without hesitation. Who would have appetite for such food with hidden intentions behind it? I never wanted to become a background prop awkwardly caught between her and Makoto. Even that belated peace offering of hers carried obvious condescending attitude. It felt ridiculously insulting to accept such insincere kindness. I sat down on the soft couch, thinking over everything that happened recently. The more I recalled details, the more suffocated and depressed I felt inside. To break free from the long shadow Willow cast over my daily life, I made up my mind to leave my familiar surroundings for a while to relax. People say it takes 21 days to form a stable personal habit. Then it should also take 21 days to abandon an old deep-rooted habit as well. Mom felt uneasy about me traveling too far away all alone by myself, so she only agreed to let me stay temporarily at my uncle's residence located in Sea City. Anyway, I had already successfully submitted my final college application form. Nothing important remained tying me down to my hometown anymore. I packed personal belongings lightly and booked an evening flight heading to Sea City. By 9 o'clock at night, I was already sitting leisurely on my uncle's rooftop terrace. Fresh sea breeze brushed gently across my face. I chewed on delicious freshly grilled squid snacks comfortably. The salty sea wind mixed with smoky barbecue aroma lifted my heavy mood slightly. On a sudden whim, I posted a casual daily update on my WeChat Moments page. Sea breeze plus grilled squid equals perfect satisfying leisure time. David and other friends immediately left excited comments begging for a taste of the food. The next morning, loud voices from my noisy cousin woke me up from sleep. Bright strong sunlight blasted through the bedroom window glass. "Bro, your phone is ringing nonstop. It's a call for you." They dialed my contact number directly. "That girl named Willow is looking for you urgently." He handed the ringing mobile phone over to my side. I took the device groggily half asleep. As expected, it was Willow contacting me again. "George, all our travel group members have gathered here waiting only for you. We will board the transportation in 30 minutes. Where on earth are you staying now? You blocked my contact again without warning. Your mother told me you are currently staying at your cousin's place in Sea City. Since when did your cousin move and settle down there?" She sounded extremely rushed and flustered by the unexpected situation. I fully woke up from drowsiness and replied to her in a flat, calm tone. "No, I'm not playing tricks on you at all. I am really staying in Sea City right now, at my uncle's residential home." Willow snapped instantly, obvious irritation leaking from her voice. "Cut out this silly pretense right now. If you hurry to leave this moment, you can still catch up with our travel team. I have already told you clearly. I will not join your trip." There was a short pause on the other end of the phone line. Then a soft lowered female voice spoke beside Willow's position. "Willow, I think he really is staying in Sea City currently. Check his latest WeChat post updated last night to confirm the truth." All right, she could no longer view my personal moments updates anymore. "Now do you finally believe my words?" I asked plainly without emotional fluctuation. It sounded like she was burning with anger on the other side of communication. After a long period of heavy silence, she forced out a cold warning sentence. "George, don't end up regretting this reckless decision you made today." Chapter 9. Of course I had no regrets about leaving hometown early. I only regretted not coming to Sea City to relax sooner than this. The heavy exhaustion accumulated throughout the whole senior high school year was completely washed away by beautiful blue skies, gentle ocean breeze, and fresh local seafood. Cold, refreshing beer also helped soothe my tired mind over these past few relaxing days. When my uncle learned about the falling out between Willow and me, he flew into furious anger immediately. Every single day, he planned various activities to cheer me up. He talked about taking me to car modification shops and dragging me out to meet new acquaintances. Sea City during off-travel season possessed an almost unreal, relaxing, peaceful atmosphere. We went crab fishing when the tide receded, cast fishing lines along the pier side. We hiked up Lauzhan mountain ranges, sketched natural scenery in ancient old town streets, chased gorgeous sunset views around Badagwan's scenic zone every day. Each day ended with me falling tiredly onto bed. I was too worn out to think about messy past troubles. Willow and other travel companions also seemed to enjoy their journey happily. Travel photos they took popped up occasionally inside our small friend group chat. I deliberately chose to ignore all related news and images all the time. One day, while waiting for my uncle's car to finish maintenance service, I finally had a brief peaceful spare moment. I absent-mindedly tapped and opened some shared travel pictures casually. They had visited quite many famous scenic spots, including the vast Gobi Desert. Ancient cave murals also appeared in the photographed scenery. All pictures were filled with energetic youthful vitality. In group collective photos, I noticed numerous two-person close snapshots of Willow and Makoto. Their intimate photos always occupied central positions in Makoto's 9-picture WeChat layout. It was impossible for anyone scrolling the feed to miss their close interaction. In boundless desert landscapes and in front of majestic Mogeo Caves murals, the only two figures staying behind in the frame were Willow and Makoto alone together. Every single one of these beautiful scenic places was once a travel dream I planned to share with her. Now watching her experience these views accompanied by someone else instead of me. A subtle yet sharp stinging pain pricked my inner heart surface. The scenery we promised to admire side by side eventually had another person standing beside her. It turned out no individual in this world is truly irreplaceable forever. My cousin leaned his head over my shoulder, noticing what I was browsing. He let out a disdainful scoff. "Dude, these are just ordinary photos taken to show off to others. Anyone can look attractive under good photography angles and filters. The friends I know from Car Hobby Circle master taking really cool stylish shots. I honestly tell you bro, you used to keep way too low profile all the time. You always buried yourself deeply inside art creation work without showing yourself. Just upgrade your personal image a little bit outwardly. Once you enter college campus life, you will easily outshine all other art department students around you. I guarantee even your former acquaintance will view you in a completely brand new light." From that day onward, my cousin dragged me into a full personal image makeover transformation. I discarded loose oversized t-shirts and casual sports shorts I used to wear daily. I changed into workwear style shirts and casual button-down tops picked out by him. He took off my always worn black-rimmed glasses and arranged a brand new trendy haircut for me. He even brought me to his friend's car modification garage studio. I posed beside shiny motorcycles and classic vintage vehicles to take fashion photos. After all makeover procedures finished, the young man displayed in those pictures barely resembled my old self. I transformed from a quiet, reserved studio boy into someone with distinctive, sharp personal edge. My new appearance looked like a person carrying rich, unique life stories behind him. Even my mother showed obvious shock expression during our video call conversation. The friend group chat fell into total chaotic excitement. Classmates flooded the page with likes and surprised comment messages. They said my appearance changed so greatly that they could hardly recognize me anymore. Some classmates even reposted these new photos into the whole grade class group chat. Seeing numerous amazed compliments online made me feel a little embarrassed inwardly. I replied modestly in group messages, giving all credit to my cousin's photography skills. He perfectly knows how to capture the most suitable shooting angles for portraits. Right at this moment, a mocking comment popped up sent by one of Makoto's friends. "Nice Photoshop editing skills, George. Mind teaching me this trick sometime?" The entire chat room fell into temporary silence instantly after this sarcastic remark. David refused to tolerate such disrespectful slander. He immediately uploaded the original unedited photo I sent him before. It was a real live candid picture capturing me bending over examining a motorcycle engine structure. Tiny sweat beads dotted my temple skin. Sharp three-dimensional facial profile lines caught bright light naturally. The discussion chat exploded into heated replies once more. "Holy, the original unretouched photo looks even more stunning and attractive. George's personal temperament and vibe are absolutely incredible. Dude hid such outstanding appearance under plain school uniform all these years. He owns a perfect artistic tough guy aesthetic style." We all knew George possessed excellent painting talent, but no one expected him to have such striking handsome facial features as well. The person who previously spoke slander vanished silently without further reply. Another friend close to Makoto grumbled sourly in dissatisfaction. Even real live photos can undergo digital retouching nowadays. But I did not need to argue and defend myself personally at all. Plenty of group members voluntarily spoke up to refute the biased remarks for me. Willow and Makoto never left any comment words inside the chat conversation. Yet starting from that day forward, Willow stopped updating content on her WeChat Moments page. Not long afterwards, I received my official admission offer letter. It was sent by the Capital Academy of Fine Arts, majoring in design discipline. My fingers trembled slightly with excitement while holding the sealed envelope. Years of persistent hard dedication and efforts finally gained deserved fruitful rewards. Then my mother made an urgent phone call to deliver sudden bad news. Her voice choked up with uncontrollable tears. Grandpa suffered an abrupt sudden heart attack. He was currently receiving treatment inside intensive care unit ward. I needed to hurry back to Beijing City without any delay immediately. Chapter 10. The next day, I landed in the capital in a hurry. As fate would have it, I ran headfirst into Willow and her group while picking up luggage. They were supposed to stay away for a whole month. I had no idea what made them cut the trip short. The shock on Willow's face was obvious the moment our eyes met. Even Makoto looked completely caught off guard by my appearance. I started pulling my suitcase to leave after several awkward silent seconds. Willow snapped back to reality and hurried over to my side. "You're back today too." The surprise and amazement in her eyes could not be hidden at all. She blurted out that she barely recognized me and praised my new look. I replied in a cold tone, keeping a clear distance between us. It had been more than a week since we last met each other. I finally realized life would not collapse even without her by my side. I held no desire to make idle small talk with her. I quickened my pace and dragged the suitcase toward the arrival exit. My mother was already waiting for me not far ahead. I walked straight towards her without slowing down. Willow chased after me and called my name from behind. She politely greeted my mother as she caught up with me. She tried to chat casually and asked if I had received the admission letter. Her parents had booked a venue for a joint family celebration banquet. My mom did not give an immediate response to her words. She glanced at my stiff face and answered tactfully. She explained we could not hold the banquet due to family emergencies. We planned to have a simple family dinner to celebrate in peace later. My mother's explanation sounded reasonable and sincere. She knew Willow and I had fallen out and changed college choices. She did not know all the details of what had happened between us. Yet she disapproved of Willow's casual attitude toward her own future. Willow scratched her nose awkwardly and asked about my grandpa's health. Mom vaguely answered and politely refused her ride offer. Then we left the airport together and headed home. I spent the following days accompanying my grandpa in hospital. The doctor said his condition had stabilized and required long-term rest. I decided to stay in Beijing to look after him as my family members were all occupied. It was summer vacation, and I cherished the chance to accompany my family. I moved into the hospital companion room on the very same day. Naturally, I failed to attend Willow's graduation celebration banquet. Chapter 11. I would not have gone to the banquet even if I stayed in town. Willow's celebration night obviously did not go smoothly as expected. She kept calling my number repeatedly with different accounts. At first, she simply asked about my current whereabouts. She soon figured out I had no intention of attending the party. Her mood instantly turned irritable and frustrated. Willow's mother noticed the strange tension between us and contacted me. She asked why I kept distance and hoped I would reconcile with Willow. She mentioned preparing new art supplies and upcoming college life in Shanghai. I thanked her politely and told her I was stuck in Beijing with family matters. The phone was suddenly snatched away from Willow's mother's hand. Willow spoke in a voice filled with suppressed anger and dissatisfaction. She blamed me for being unreasonable and refusing to show up on such an important day. She reminded me that we had known each other for 18 long years. I had just finished taking care of my grandpa when she called me. Extreme tiredness exhausted both my body and mind thoroughly. I congratulated her on getting what she had always wanted in the end. I told her I could not leave Beijing because of sudden family affairs. Willow completely lost her temper before I could finish my words. She complained about my endless sulking and the exhausting relationship. She wondered who would help me deal with luggage and art supplies in college. I told her firmly that I would never need her help in the future. I remembered senior schoolmates had promised to assist freshmen with moving work. I could handle all daily matters perfectly well without Willow's company. I hung up the call when she froze in stunned silence. Soon an unfamiliar number sent me a provocative text message. She challenged me not to seek reconciliation after college registration. She claimed I would end up feeling regretful and lonely someday. Chapter 12. I had nothing to say to such childish provocation. I deleted and blocked Willow's contact information without hesitation. I devoted all my time and energy to taking care of my grandpa afterward. The school published the honor roll list for outstanding graduates. Neither Willow nor I went back to school to check the results. Her father took her to work in branch companies to experience real social life. She even quit the class group chat after the graduation banquet ended. I believed a clear line had finally been drawn between us two. Such separation might be the best ending for our complicated relationship. Grandpa recovered steadily day by day under careful treatment. He regained walking ability and was sent back to Lakeside City for recuperation. I only stayed at my hometown residence for one single night. Mom had packed all my college luggage well in advance. She drove me to Beijing personally to complete campus registration formalities. I never ran into Willow during this period of time. College life turned out much easier and more pleasant than I imagined. Warm-hearted senior students helped me carry luggage to the dormitory. My roommates from northern China were straightforward and easy to get along with. Our major had a small number of students, so we quickly became close friends. My new companion showed me around art landmarks and shared delicious food. All my previous worries about adapting to new surroundings faded away. I received a love letter from a sculpture department girl named Anna. Willow made a phone call to me not long after that. She said she visited my home but learned I had already left for Beijing. She failed to find my name on the student list of South City Art College. She felt confused and questioned which campus I actually belonged to. I could not help smiling at her belated realization of the truth. She never expected that I would stick to my original college choice firmly. I told her plainly that I had never applied to her school at all. Willow tried to laugh nervously and thought I was just playing a joke. She softened her tone and wanted me to come over for prepared snacks. I could no longer tolerate her pretentious confusion and spoke out the truth. I insisted my application always targeted the design major of Capital Academy of Fine Arts. I would never abandon my long-cherished dream to follow her footsteps. A loud voice from my northeastern roommate interrupted our phone conversation. His casual daily words made Willow fall into great panic instantly. She stammered and refused to accept the fact that I chose Beijing alone. I sighed calmly and questioned her arbitrary assumption about my decision. I pointed out she changed her choice for another person instead of considering me. Blindly following her would only make me lose my own pursuit and dignity. Willow tried to defend herself with excuses about Makoto's difficult situation. She explained his special admission qualification and limited school options. Her words always centered around Makoto's feelings and troubles. She never spared a thought for my inner thoughts and personal dreams. Makoto suffered from the bad reputation of his father's financial crimes. Yet his misfortune was not a reason for me to sacrifice my own future. I told her she could stay with whoever she cared about deeply. We were just ordinary friends and no longer needed to bind each other. I ended the call and took a deep breath to calm my mood. My roommate dragged me to the cafeteria before sadness haunted my mind. I thought all entanglements between us would disappear completely. Willow unexpectedly appeared outside my dormitory building the next evening. Chapter 13. Anna stood right in front of me at that moment. She was tall and elegant, famous as the cold beauty of her class. I intended to ask her questions related to professional study. Anna confessed sincerely that she was the writer of the love letter. She was attracted by the stories hidden in my eyes and vivid artistic works. She hoped to start a romantic relationship and asked for my consent gently. She handed me a rolled sketch tube and left shyly with red ears. I held the sketch tube and stood there in a daze for a while. Willow's voice pulled me back from distraction. She looked exhausted with dark eye circles and messy traveling hair. Her white long dress still made her look dazzling and outstanding. She seemed to rush here directly from some formal occasions far away. My heart had grown cold towards her long ago. I still felt a faint emotional fluctuation facing her tired appearance. She hoped to have a serious private talk with me. Her voice sounded hoarse, carrying helpless and pleading emotions. I refused her request for a talk due to the upcoming department lecture. She traveled a long distance and would not leave without finishing her words. She opened the conversation with biased judgment about Anna at first. She advised me to stay away from girls who only valued outer appearance. I mocked her unreasonable interference with my social interaction. I questioned why she traveled thousands of miles just to make such remarks. Willow paled and lowered her tone to express sincere apology. She admitted her arrogance and thought I would always follow her choice. I stopped her words and refused to accept one-sided expectations. I stressed that she was the one who gave up our original promise first. She wondered why I did not alter my application with access to my account. She reached out to grab my arm emotionally to seek an explanation. I stepped backward and avoided her intimate touch naturally. I asked why she chose hidden tests instead of honest communication. I questioned whether gambling with two people's futures could bring joy. Willow wavered and defended her confidence in our relationship. She recalled the rooftop kiss and the original plan to confirm our romance. She never took the initiative to understand my true inner desires. I told her she never truly knew my deepest thoughts and pursuits. My application choice was never simply following her preference blindly. I reminded her of my father's unfinished architectural design career dream. His collected art school materials deeply influenced my career planning. Willow was too shocked to utter any complete words for a moment. She never heard me mention such meaningful hidden reasons before. I smiled bitterly at her long-term ignorance of my inner world. My past paintings and late-night efforts belonged to my own dream pursuit. I finally made everything clear and ended our tangled youthful feelings. I still cherish the warm comfort she and her family gave me years ago. Our relationship thoroughly broke the moment she chose Makoto over our dream. Chapter 14. I turned around and walked upstairs after finishing all my words. Heavy rain poured down violently outside the building soon afterward. My roommate told me Willow still stood in the rain downstairs stubbornly. I did not go out to check or persuade her to leave the cold rain. Willow stayed outside the dormitory all night and left until dawn broke. I assumed she would return to her school in Shanghai afterward. I received a tearful phone call from Willow's mother several days later. Willow fell ill with persistent high fever after coming back from Beijing. She refused medical treatment and planned to retake exams to come to Beijing. Her extreme choice made my head feel sharp and splitting pain. I rejected the unreasonable request without any hesitation. I would not pause my new life to cater to her impulsive decisions. I suggested her family guide her to abandon childish, reckless ideas. Her persistent entanglement would only make me look down on her more. A crashing sound came from the other end during our conversation. Willow finally went back to South City Art College under elders' persuasion. She intended to apply for postgraduate entrance exams in Beijing in the future. She flew to Beijing on every holiday and waited silently near my living area. She secretly left my favorite art supplies and snacks beside me. I never accepted any gift related to her all the time. I got together with Anna in the winter vacation of my sophomore year. She seemed cold outside but possessed a lovely and sincere inner personality. Her hand-drawn sketches quietly touched my soft heart deeply. Holding hands with her in the Forbidden City made me bid farewell to the past. My whole family moved away from the old hometown city later on. I barely received any news about Willow in the following days. I pursued doctoral studies and joined a top professional design studio. Anna also gained wide recognition for her excellent sculpture creations. Looking back on youthful passion and hurt betrayal feels like distant dust. My future journey is vast, full of endless creative possibilities. The darkest long night will eventually welcome bright dawn and new hope.